Well, first the preparation starts with research and reading as much as you possibly can to understand the world and the political vibrations at the time, not only in France but in the whole world. So that's where it really starts, you know, so that you understand what drives these men and women. And then the other thing is the second part is the physical transformation and the physical work that takes place to kind of become a knight, not only to look like somebody who's been a warrior since they were 11 years old, but also to carry the weight of the costume, which was 23 kilograms, which is heavy, you know, and to carry that for 14 hours a day. And so I had to put on 30 pounds of muscle. I had to learn how to ride a horse properly and fight, and it was an intense process. And all in all, it was about 4 months' work. Yeah, well, you know, the way that we did it was difficult because our amazing stunt coordinator, Cedric Proust, he's a perfectionist, and he wanted every single fight to be as real and as authentic as possible. And so the standard that he held was so high that the workload was very difficult. And I was having to fight and learn the fights on my lunch breaks and on my weekends because I was in nearly every scene. And so it was a physical and mental kind of war of attrition, but I've never had more fun. It was like a boy's dream, you know, I loved it. Well, I don't think we can talk at this point about who she is because that's a big reveal in episode 1. But
in episode 1, it's a little spoiler.
I don't want to give any spoilers away. No spoilers. But we can talk about the fact that he's having an affair with a woman. And the fact that, of course, it throws up a lot of difficulties for Landry. He's such a complex character, very pulled apart, at battle with himself. He is a monk, and yet he's having an affair with a woman, and he's lying to his brothers, yet he's very loyal to them. And it's such an interesting place to start a show. And it's normally where you'd end a series, but starting with the series there is really thrilling because from that point you can just break down and deconstruct that storyline and the journey that he goes on and the trouble that he gets himself in, not only through his relationship with this woman, but also through the other actions that he's making. Yeah, it's a very complex and very real journey. Yeah, I think it's really important that you stay faithful to the history and you work to be as accurate as possible. It's essential. You owe it to these guys. And of course, the difficult thing is finding the balance between making something that's entertaining and historically accurate. And so what we've done is we've used the skeletal structure of historical facts, and there's a space between that and mythology where the show sits, and it's a great place to make a show, and I hope that people find it as informative as they do find it entertaining. So the show is of course it's about the Templars, which involves a lot of battles and fighting, and it's a very in-depth look into them. But one of my favourite parts of the show is the political interplay and the socio-political, socio-economic machinations that take place inside the French court. And the show has an amazing love story at the heart of it, and it's a show that it's about human beings. It's about betrayal and revenge, brotherhood, loyalty, faith, humanity and morality. I think to be a Templar you have to be prepared to give up all vanity. You have to be prepared to give up all sense of yourself. One of the things that Templars have to do is give up all of their possessions, all of their wealth. You have to be prepared to have no ego, and that's something that I massively respect. I couldn't do it, you know. And you also have to be prepared to work. These guys trained for 6 hours a day in battle. They're a different breed of human beings than we are today. Yes, absolutely. We feel really passionate about the show, and we hope that we can make many more of these. I have a 6-year contract, so potentially 6 years, and they've already opened up the writers' room for season 2, so they're already writing the scripts for the 2nd season. So Gunpowder is about a very important part of British history. It surrounds the Gunpowder Plot, which is where a group of oppressed Catholics tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament containing the Protestant king and government at the time. But it was a failed plot, and every year on the 5th of November, British people, we build an effigy of this guy called Guy Fawkes, who was the guy that was caught on the gunpowder, and we burn him and set off fireworks. And as kids, it was one of my favourite days of the year, never fully understanding why we were doing it. And so this is an in-depth look into that part of our history. It's a great show. Really proud of it, and it's got great actors: Kit Harington, Liv Tyler, Peter Mullen, Mark Gatiss, Robert Hens, Edward Holcroft. I mean, it's really exciting, and I get to swing a sword again, so I'm happy. It was really difficult working with Kit because he's so ugly. I found it very difficult to make eye contact with him. I had to look off camera because I kept on wanting to be sick every time I had to look at him. So it was very difficult. Yeah. I don't want to work on Game of Thrones because I'm at Knightfall, and I'm really proud of Knightfall. I'm a huge fan of Game of Thrones, but I love watching it, and I'm very proud to be in Knightfall.